Good morning to all the audience out there, to all the viewers. First, I want to welcome you to the Derek and the Clayton Show. And we both are retired military, and we're going to bring something to you that most people are not familiar with. And so I believe what the Bible is saying, that most people fail because of lack of knowledge. But we're going to give you some knowledge that you can use that you're unfamiliar with. And we're going to talk about workforce development and what Derek, can you tell us what is the purpose of workforce development?
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night to everybody that's under the sound of our voice. Hey, good question, Clayton. Man, good question, good topic of discussion. Workforce development, and to me, Clayton, workforce development is the purpose of it is to build skills, to create career pathways, and strengthen the community. It's I would say it's a subcomponent of the workforce commission. I don't want to just say and be more specific to the Louisiana Workforce Commission, but every state has a workforce commission, possibly just titled different, but their purpose is to develop the workforce.
Now, if I can intervene with you, now these workforce development is in all states.
Yes, all states have a workforce development department under, back in the days when we were growing up, it used to be called the unemployment office.
Yep.
Now the name is Louisiana is called the Louisiana Workforce Commission. And here in the Tangipahoa Parish area where we're located at, it's Go Jobs. If people are looking to enhance their skills and create a pathway for themselves and strengthen their community, that's possibly where they will go to get that training. Go Jobs, which is a subcomponent of the workforce, the Louisiana workforce, which is a subcomponent of the workforce development, which is also a subcomponent of the Department of Labor. So that's where all this stems from, really comes from the Department of Labor.
If there is any cost to go down there and talk to those guys, if there is something that you want to improve, well, what type of job that, do you have to be already in the workforce or are you trying to get in the workforce?
No, you don't have to be, or you can be. And if you're trying to, again, improve your skills to possibly get promoted to the next job, and you don't have the necessary skills to do so, you can go down to the workforce and get some training. Your second question is it does it have a cost associated with it? No, they actually have a program that's called the WIOA program. Some pronounce it WIA, but it's the WIOA program, which stands for the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act,
Mhm.
which was put into place back in 2014 by President Barack Obama. He wanted everybody to be able to at least achieve some vocational training or receive an associate's degree free of charge. And
Wow.
it goes to young people that's in school, young people that's out of school, and adults.
Well, I tell you what, believe me, that's some stuff. I just got to be honest with you, Derek. It's a lot of people, especially in minority neighborhoods. They don't, when you talk about workforce development, that's great to them. They looking for signs on the doorsteps, on the highway, and, workers needed. They don't realize this type of thing is available. To me, this is an entryway to your career. And only,
Exactly.
as we said, Derek, most people don't know, and the reason why most people perish because they have a lack of knowledge, and that's why we are here as retired military is to bring them up to date as to opportunities that they have. Now they know, and we asking them to really say share this information with all the neighborhoods, all anyone that's going through struggle with job opportunity. Go to the workforce development. So
I definitely agree with you, Clayton. And also, um, being prior military kind of give us a broadened perspective on research ability. We don't just take things for face value. We kind of dig back the layers to see where actually the seed is. So I guess we've been summoned to go out there and find the knowledge and find the information and bring back to the communities to strengthen the communities. Because again, sometimes people don't know what they don't know, and
That's true. That's absolutely true.
and I think that's just a part of our purpose and our calling to be able to get the information, do what we're doing now, and just make the people aware that these things are available. And then it's three things you can do with the information that we're providing: either use it, store it, or simply ignore it. But I think we've done what's been summons of us is to get the information spread it to the people.
Oh, I totally agree. And I would think some of the goals here is to close that skill gap in between the labor market. And these are opportunities that people need to take advantage of it and increase productivity and a comprehensive for employers. I mean, the opportunities is out there. It's just get putting this information out there and to provide worker with a long-term career pathway. And that's what our long-term goals is not just a short-term job training. And Derek, as I said that as the goal, what are some of the key components that people need to look at?
Well, some of the key components that the workforce commission / Go Job provides is that vocational training. So if you are kind of uncertain, or if you are currently in a career path, the Go Job Louisiana Workforce Commission can help you identify maybe some of those strengths that you already have, and then point you in the right direction. And not only point you in the right direction, help you get the necessary skills and training, those either vocational training or degreed training that you need in order to be successful in the workforce.
Mhm.
They have apprenticeship programs that they would partner you with said company, and so you can kind of earn while you learn. You can
Wow.
be working with the company, getting paid, and developing the skill sets and certifications, to improve yourself. So it's
Derek, I don't mean to intervene, Derek. Are you saying that even if you didn't have a job, just workforce development, they would find your job and throw you out as an apprentice and go work on this site and they're going to pay for it and you might get a check too?
yes, no might it you will.
Oh,
They
wow.
actually have, if you really think about it, if you think about, ask yourself why would the state of Louisiana or any state in the United States would offer this workforce development? If you think about it,
Mhm.
just think about the workforce. Just in my thought is they would want everybody to go to work and be the
Right.
best that they can be on the job, so they can earn some money and pay into this big old pool of monies that we call taxes. So if you're not employed, you're unemployed, you're not earning, you're not contributing as a, a model citizen, an effective citizen, and adding to contributing to this big old pool of money that we call taxes. So
Mhm.
I think that's the reason behind it. One of the reasons, is to make the workforce better, and help the people get the training necessary in order to contribute back as a productive citizen.
Mhm. And so when you that partnership, um, I think that would be very interesting once people look into that. If you don't have a skill level and you work as an apprentice under the direction and getting paid for it, man, that's for me. If I wanted to improve the quality of life, Derek, I would take advantage of those opportunities. But again, I appreciate that we're discussing it because a lot of people's, whether regardless of race, religion, sex, they are unaware of what the workforce development is. And for a lot of you young kids, and the only thing we're doing is actually to share this information.
All
And
right. And
and
if
so,
you really start to pay attention, Clayton, either on the news or if you're listening to the governor here in the state of Louisiana, the big buzzword, the huge buzzword is workforce development. It's
wow.
workforce development because just think about it. Uh, the governor of, just say, the state of Louisiana, you can't go out and solicit companies to come to your state if you can't provide them with the workforce.
That makes sense.
So
That makes sense.
you're asking companies to come and set up shop here in the state of Louisiana, but you don't have the workforce to assist them to accomplish said mission. So
Mhm.
hey, you got to do some training. And right now, the big thing that's going on in across the United States is vocational training. Within the next 5 years, they're going to need thousands of electricians. They're going to need thousands of welders. They're going to need thousands of plumbers. And right now, the focus is on those craft skills.
Mhm.
So that's where the I would say a large portion of the money is being budgeted to give people those skills necessary to go out and get a job.
Mhm. Well, Derek, my thing is that why are minorities unaware of these workforce development programs? Despite the promises, workforce development programs often fail to reach, remember this, marginalized community. Research highlights several reasons. Limited outreach program. Can you expand on that, Derek?
Um, yes, and we both know out here, just asking um, people from our community, are they
Mhm.
aware of these programs? Are they aware? And they're not aware.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just uh, a lack of knowledge, a
Mhm.
lack of motivation, a lack of research skills, but I do know it's a lack.
A lack of
We're
community
experiencing
involvement.
a lack. Exactly. So, is it a lack of outreach on the Workforce Commission part, or is it a lack of seeking and finding and researching to see what's available on the community part?
Mhm.
So whatever that lack is, Clayton, I think that we are here to try to fill that gap, bridge the gap, so to speak, and we're
Mhm.
going to try to take away that lack and go get the information from the workforce and bring it back to the people. So, hey, you and I is going to bridge that gap where we find there is a hole, and we're going to call that hole lack, be it on the workforce commission side or the people side.
Now, Derek, let me ask you this. I mean, I'm quite sure you from down south. Have you ever heard the term that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink?
Yes,
How would
sir.
you how would you compare that with the workforce development and to what we are doing right now?
It kind of leads back to what I was saying earlier. Um, we can go find the water and try to lead the horse to the water by way of giving information. And like I said earlier, it's three
Right,
things that you
right.
could do with the information. You can use it, you can store it, or simply ignore it. So
Hmm.
we can tell you where it is and actually
Right.
point you or bring you there, or be willing to bring you. But if you don't have a willing spirit to go, so but I think we'll be able to sleep well at night knowing that we provided them with the information it's necessary for them to have a successful life.
Well, Derek, I know this is where some people may have some differences about. Do you think when we talk about systematic barriers, a barrier, and once you find out a systematic barrier is something that you got to go through or go across, it's a program sometimes steer minority into low wage job, low wage, I mean, pay, and rather than a high quality career. Would you agree with that?
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that there's possibly a barrier that prevents said community, the minority community, from getting this information, or if they receive or when they receive the information, they're pointed towards the low wage jobs. Is
That's
that
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
understanding?
Yep.
Low mobility jobs.
Right.
Uh, I would beg to differ. I would say that that's not necessarily the case. And the reason being, the program that we were speaking of, the WIOA program, the Workforce
Mhm.
Innovation Opportunity Act program, states that in order to receive said training, that
Right.
training or that job has to be a high demand, high wage job. That job has to be in high demand per
Mhm.
state of Louisiana, per state, per uh, locale, and it has to be a high wage job.
Mhm.
So, I understand why people may think that, back in the old saying, they said if you wanted to keep something from a certain community, you put it in a book. We know that the book is not to say is not relevant, but
Mhm.
it's not as relevant as the internet.
Right.
And I think when it's mandated that certain departments put information out, and the information is on the website, is on the internet, and now it's said community responsibility to go out there and do the research. But now the lack of resources, now they don't have the necessary tools to do the research, if it's computers or anything like that. So, and we understand that, Clayton. We understand that, hey, if you haven't been taught research skills, or if you don't know it's out there, you don't even know where to start the search. And that's why we're doing what we do, is going out here,
Mhm.
making
You know,
ourselves aware and bringing it back to the community.
yeah, but Derek, when we talk about those barriers, and for me, from my experience and what I see, even though a minority participate, a racial wedge gap is persistent. And when I say that, and black workers in career pathway programs earn $2.48 minus, they're going to get a $15.30. So what is that wedge gap? Why is this person getting more money than me and we got the same qualification? And I know we might disagree with that, and you might come back and say the skill level, the ability. How do you feel about that? I'm not going to fight with you
Yeah,
because I already know where you're going with it.
I'm not going. I'm not going to totally disagree with you that is possibly a problem. That there is a wage gap, and you have several contributing factors,
Okay.
because of the wage gap, and one of them could be because we have a skills gap. Is because
Okay. I can
some
agree with that.
people got the information, got the training, hence higher wage, and then some people didn't get the training, low wage. But
Okay.
let's just say if all are equal,
Okay.
got the same resources, the same training, same skill set, and because one is of one demographic and the other is of a different demographic, the pay is different. I don't think
Hmm.
that's a part of um, the workforce commission problem. I just think that's a problem where said individual needs negotiation skills, because after
Uh,
you receive the training, you have to know how to go and sell yourself, and know your value, know what said job is worth.
well, so until I don't want to intervene with you, but regardless of what you're telling me, I'm respecting that. But it's one thing that I'm going to tell you, no matter how we look at it, there's going to always be a wedge gap in doing the systematic system. And the reason why I say that is the way that the system designed. And I'm asking everyone, it's so funny we mentioned about this. A lot of people are unaware about coding in the workplace. I got a young lady going to be coming in on my next show, and she's going to talk about how the workplace is knowing or putting a code on you and how they identify you for the job. And I know that I got a little bit off that. I don't care what anyone say. As long as the pyramid is up here, it may look like there is no wedge gap, but at the top is where the money is still gonna fall at. So we can fight, wrestle, whatever you want to do. So it's good that we are debating on this because
And I'm not gonna totally disagree with you. I'm not gonna say that, because we understand that there's nepotism in the workforce.
That's
It's
true.
based on, it's not necessarily all about what you know, it's who you know,
Right.
and
And
people
Derek,
tend
let
to
me
place,
stop you right there. When most people don't know nepotism in the workplace, explain to them how it works right up on the radar.
yeah, that's nepotism is basically you're hired, promoted based on who you know and not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily what you know.
Right.
You see family members bring on family members or hire family members
That's
simply
true.
because they're a family member. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're qualified to do the job, and place said person in a position uh, over a more qualified and more skilled um, worker,
Mm-hmm.
which cause that individual to get paid more money, and it is, and it's possibly going to continue to be. I
Right.
mean, as is that a part of the system? It's a part of the system. We tend to just look at it as from race to race. It also occurs from gender to gender.
That's true.
Males
That's true.
tend to make
That
more money than their female counterparts.
right.
So we have to be able to control the things that we can control. And one of the things that we can control is our money. If you're
Right.
making money and you're making good money, you need to know how to manage money. So if
That's true.
if if Clayton is making $30, I'm making $27, and we're both doing the same job, hey, I
Right.
just need to be able to manage my money and not always look over on Clayton plate and try to
But
manage
Derek,
Clayton plate.
that's the way we tend to look at each other. We got making the same money. You know how to invest yours. And I go to the casino every weekend looking for that famous pay. So how can I feel that I'm accomplishing anything when I don't know how to invest my money into things for future use? And so uh, if we say something that may affect any of y'all out there, well, we're talking about real talk because we want to be honest with you, but you got to be honest with yourself. And to me,
Thank
Derek,
you.
this is about real talk, and I'm glad that you expanded and bringing it out in a way where people could understand it in plain sight. And I want to ask you something, Derek. What about people they just trust in the institution? You
Yeah, and
know,
if I could, Kate, before we move to that, man, and we talked about negotiating skills.
Mhm.
If you don't have the ability to negotiate, that's just like going to buy a vehicle from a car lot. You
That's
know,
true.
if you don't know how to negotiate and get the lowest price, they're gonna sell you on the highest price. You
That's
know,
true.
but you have to have those qualifications. One of the things you must have before even going to the car lot is a good credit score.
Yep.
So now that kind of puts the negotiation in your court. So
Mhm.
that goes with that training and that skill set. You have to know your value. You have to know what you're worth. And if you don't have that sales orientation, you don't know how to sell yourself to make the manager, supervisor, the employer hire you at a higher rate. You might I need to go get some more training. I need to go get uh, some understanding of my value.
Mhm.
So maybe that's another training that we need to add to said training through the workforce is negotiation skills.
Uh,
So we
Derek,
understand that employers are in the business of making money. If they bid a contract and they put, hey, we're going to be paying said crafts $30 an hour, $60 an hour, and you only go in there and negotiate for $30 an hour or
right,
$25 an hour,
right.
who fault is that? Who fault
Right.
is that?
You're right. That is true. And you know what, Derek? It's so funny
That
we
click.
bringing this up. Is I was part of being the interview for these job training for these pilots, and we tell them, say, look, man, you've done a good interview and you were very impressive. How much you think we should pay you for this job? And when you start cutting yourself short, you know, first thing I'll tell them, whatever the job is worth, whatever is fair. And then they're gonna say, well, mine, you said 15, I'm gonna give you 16, but the job is worth more than. And those negotiation skills there is very imperative. And if you don't know how to, just like I say, just use them car lot dealer. If you're gonna give me the first thing I ask for, cool. It's about me
Yeah,
knowing how to
yeah.
negotiate.
Right. And sometimes showing your hand first can give you a disadvantage. Well, what
You're
do you
right.
think you're worth? So you have to understand the negotiating skills that, hey, what is fair and equitable? So that would actually cause the employer to show his hand, especially after you've done
Exactly.
your research on,
Hmm.
hey, this is what this job pays. If this job is paying $30 an hour, and you tell the interviewer that, hey, I just want what is fair and equitable, and he come at a, and lowball you, that doesn't show a sense of loyalty in that company, and you might not want to even be part of that company because they're trying to take advantage of you. They're not trying to establish that trust and that loyalty.
Right. Right. And I want the audience to know also that Sergeant Taylor, he runs the ROTC down in Hammond, and everything that y'all teaches deal with workforce development. And so, how do y'all prepare y'all kids? Is it just part of the program, or is it, it seems as though the ROTC got the upper hand for its workforce development?
Yeah, we have that's a part of our curriculum, and we have our kids to do. It's almost like an ad where it's
Hmm.
called sales orientation, where you have to know your own value. You can't expect to ask people to put a value on you. You
That's
got to
true.
know your own
Absolutely.
value. So now, it's almost like self-esteem. Is
Hmm.
is That's just the way the world is. That's just
Right.
the way the
Right.
world is, man. You got to know the value of self and know how to sell yourself.
And yeah, like I said, a lot of people don't know how to sell themselves. If you look cheap, you act cheap, well, people gonna treat you cheap. When you act intelligent, you look intelligent. I think 1 and 1 is still 2, isn't it, there? I think some thing is common sense. You ask me, but what's common sense to me may not be common sense to everybody else. It's your approach.
Exactly.
It's how you view yourself and how you other may view you. But the most important thing, a self. What do you want in life? You want everybody to give you something, or you want to willing to go out there in the workforce and work for it. And by bringing this information, Derek, I think personally, enlighten people, inspiring people, and teach them where they can go and improve the quality of life. But when you don't know, you don't know.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, man.
And so, what are some of the challenges, opportunities that we have out there?
Yeah.
Uh, you,
And you asked a question about trust,
okay,
about having that trust. Sometimes um, people have a lack of trust in certain entities. Like, okay, well, why are they giving us this free money?
right, right,
What is their agenda? And some people just don't. They have learned through their experience uh, uh, not to trust. We're going to just say the government. You
right.
know,
You're
and
right. That's
so
true.
and that would be a question for the government. Is like, okay, why does the people have such distrust? What have you done to people to make them, you're giving them something for free, and they refuse to come get it because they feel like you had a hidden agenda? And that's probably just a lack of information
Right.
on those departments part, where you just say, hey, we have this available, and really don't go into explaining why. The WIA, just like we explain what it is, what it's an act now, it's a law.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
who put that law into place? If you were to tell our community that this was an act put into place, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act by President Barack Obama, oh, like, hey, you
Right.
get their attention, so hey, that President Barack Obama wants to see everyone gets get
Succeed.
training, get educate exactly. So, and they have monies available that they allocate to those departments for training. So now,
Hmm.
if you don't go get it, you just kind of relinquishing, just kind of throwing away monies that you can do to improve your quality of life.
But Derek, I know it's a little bit off. How do you think, doing the thing right now, the DEI, and when you're talking about workforce development, especially, how is it going to affect certain people? That
Yeah, the DEI. Um, that's Well,
is
let
it going
me
to affect workforce?
say again.
Is it got anything to do with workforce? How people are going to suffer?
When we talk about equity and inclusion, we're just talking about fair treatment, regardless
Right.
of race, religion, creed. You know,
Mhm.
um, all things equal. Why do we have to have that in place anyway?
Right.
Because it must be a problem. So the only
Exactly.
thing, so for people to be discussing or talking about that, it must be so. But again, Clayton, sometimes we, like playing sports or running track, you got to watch your lane. And the only
You're right.
thing and the only person that you can control is yourself, you know,
Hmm.
and do everything that you need to do in order to prepare yourself, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and you're going to have we was talking about some systematic uh,
Barrier.
barriers out there. It's going to be some barriers out there, just
Yep.
like running track. You're going to have to be prepared to either go over them or under them, but you can't allow that to just cause you not to start the race.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you have to do everything within your power to develop yourself.
I told because there's nothing come free.
Right.
I mean, what you get out of what you put into it. So if you put nothing into it, nothing's going to happen. But I believe that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve any goal. But
Hmm.
sometimes you got to get from behind that 8 ball and stop being programmed to think that you can't make it. Just like this program here. If I was on the outside, I hear you two guys, me, you talk about workforce development, I'll be the first one to jump on it because my generation, my kids, they can do better if they know better. But this information here should be passed on to every family. Workforce development in your town. All you have to do is go look up on the yellow page. And Derek, I forget the name of it. We used to call it what? Welfare office? Uh,
The unemployment office.
yeah, they used to call it unemployment office. And if I didn't know
Right.
anything about workforce development, that's the first thing I said, where's the unemployment office at?
Right. And that's what it is. And if you think about it, people uh they just used to use the unemployment office to go get their unemployment benefits. They've been laid
Mhm.
off or they're not working, they go file for their unemployment. But they provide training. We're talking about one of the greatest assets that you can get from the Go Job Workforce Commission is some good training to improve your skill set. So
Mhm.
that's what we're here for, Clayton, is just to put the word out there, create the awareness, let the people know that, hey, there's some training available, some free training that's available. Go get it, man. Go get it. I would definitely encourage our young people that's coming out of high school, even if you're a senior, to because there's funds available specifically for in-school youth, to
Well,
prepare
I
you
didn't know
for
that.
that career path. Yes, in-school youth, out of school youth. When we talk about in-school youth, we're talking about the age of 16 to 21. So
Wow.
21-year-old, that means you're college age. So it's funds for even though you're in college or for you to go to college, out of school youth and adults. So it's monies there that are available. And what happens to the money if we don't use it? We know in the government, if you don't
Right,
have
right.
you don't use it, is you don't get as much next year. So
Mhm.
we need to make sure that the people aware, possibly getting more or asking for more that's been allocated or budgeted so they can give more the following year.
Mhm.
So man, go get you some training.
Well, look, let me close out by saying this. For example, and I know that you qualify for it. For example, I got laid off, and I've been doing scaffolding for 40 years, and got laid off. Can I go to the workforce place and apply for a job in scaffolding if they're available? And
Yes.
what is the process? Do I still get unemployment?
Well, I'm really not sure, and I'm probably sure you possibly get your unemployment until you
Yeah,
get back into the workforce. So I'm
right,
not too
right.
versed on how the unemployment works, but you think about it, the workforce wants you to get back into the workforce. So I would say that you would meet those qualifications to receive
Mhm,
said monies. And the reason being, so what is the purpose for you being laid off? Maybe
mhm.
because you can't get the next promotion, and that
Right.
training would help you get to that
Oh,
next
I got
step.
yeah, yeah.
So hey, more money you make, more monies you can pay into this big pool of money that we call taxes.
Wow. And before we close out, Derek, we want you all to know also that we part of the workforce development, especially if you're trying to get into scaffolding and stuff. Me and Derek, we got our safety training, and so Derek, tell a little bit about. It's still part of workforce. What can we do for those guys that are trying to get into the plants, and how do we get the message out to them for safety go?
Right. Thanks, Clayton. Thanks for a reminder. Myself and Clayton, we are partnered with the Workforce Commission. We are what's called an eligible training provider that provides some of this training, the electrician training, the scaffolding training, the safety training. So several of those vocational training programs, we are actually partnered with the Workforce Commission to offer that training. But you don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to come to us to get the training. You can go here in the state of Louisiana. You can go to Southeastern. You can go to North Shore uh, Technical, BRCC, Baton Rouge Community College, Delgado. So we're not just here to give you the information so you can
Mhm.
come to us to get the training. No, wherever you feel comfortable, that's where you can use your funds. We just want to let you know that it is available, and we do offer that training. Like Clayton said, we offer OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 training. We offer for those that would like to be a safety manager or safety supervisor, we offer that training. For those that need CPR, AED, first aid training, we offer that training. So it's several different crafts and skill set training that we offer. Also, we offer that negotiation skills training, employability skills training,
Mhm.
those skills that you need in order to get a job and keep a job. So we're here to try to, from unemployed to employed to next level of employment. We're here to help you. And one of the things that I definitely like to send to those that haven't been to school for a while, we're going to make this training as less intimidating as possible, because we know that some people just are afraid to come back to school and deal with this technology. And when people say training in school, it kind of deter people. I don't want to take tests. No, we're here to make it as less threatening as possible.
Mhm.
So we're going to kind of walk you through the process, so to speak. So hey, if you're looking for more information, you can reach out to myself at 985-517-5678. Again, that's 985-517-5678. Or you can email me at GRO at tlctrainingacademy.org. That's GRO at TLCtrainingacademy.org. And Clayton, if you would like to share your
Yeah.
information, how you could be reached.
Again, you can come to email me at rlines, CAJ, at gmail.com. You can just phone me, 985-606-2200. So, again, it's things that we really want you to know. We are here for you. We retired military. We feel like this is our duty to go out and reach in the public. And Derek and I certainly uh, thank you. And I think we need to expand or elaborate, because if you don't know, you don't know. And so, and anything else, Derek,
Yeah.
you want to close?
Yeah, man, that's a great topic of discussion, Clayton, because it's just making the people aware, and we want to definitely get the awareness out there. And this is a part of our awareness campaign, so we're
Yeah.
not going to ask anybody else to do what we're willing to do ourselves. So we're just going to take the bull by the horns. We're going to be leading by example, so to speak, and just give our people what they need, or give people what they need in order to be successful. So.
And also, please, the next guest we're going to have on the next show, this young lady, she's going to educate you and me about how the system works. They call it coding in the workplace. And again, the more aware you are, the way, hey, people fail because of lack of knowledge, Derek. And I want to make sure that I want you to give me all that I need in order to survive in this cruel world. And I'm going to close out by saying,
I would like to, let me add to that, Clayton, about how people perish or fail because of lack of knowledge. And also people perish or fail because they don't execute the knowledge that they have.
The word.
They don't do anything with it. Applied knowledge. That's power, not just knowledge itself. We like to use this cliche saying that knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. So we're going to give it to you in hopes that, and we're willing to help you apply it. So just be willing, put your egos aside and your pride aside, and be willing to ask for help. And we're willing to assist.
Derek, did we ever decide, because me and you disagreed on something? I said knowledge is power and power is knowledge. And you said you disagree. Now, are you agreeing with me now or no?
No, I would say it's powerful. That's just like that socket over there. It's got some power to it and it's powerful, but you got to plug into it. You got to plug your lamp in there in order to turn it on. It's just sitting there waiting on you to plug into. You got some knowledge, you got some resources, but if you don't do nothing with it, what is it? You just a smart dummy to me.
Okay, so until it's been a plumb pleasing pleasure, well, a privilege, because that's why you and I cannot talk with each other. Because right now, I want to say something, but I'm gonna tell you something, boy. You always got a comeback for everything I say. To the audience out there, it's been a pleasure, well as a privilege. Until next time, please share, hit the notification button, like, dislike, and believe me, we are two retired successful military. And our job is to help you. We got our job is to be able to serve you. So until next time, may God bless you. Sergeant Taylor, adios.
Ready?